עם שבט אחים ואחיות שרק רוצים לחיות, להיות להבות, התקוות בעיניים פתוחות, בידיים אוהבות ומקבלות, ובידיעה שכולנו משפחה, באמונה שתוכנו יש מקום גדול לאהבה. כשהמים זורמים הם אותנו מובילים, מרומים מצבעים, כי מה שלי ומה שלך זוהי דרך חדשה, כשהשמש עולה על כולנו מהירה. אז עוד שנייה, הנה זה בא, כמו הנשמה, נשמה, נשימה. אני מבקש, כך ניתן מצב רוח לעלות ונתייאש. כשהשן עליי דוהר, בוער, אני לא מהר, לא סופר על העבר, מוותר, מרגיש את הרגע, פוגע במציאות, נוגע, שופע לא קורע, ותמיד יודע שאם לא נפחד, הראש יתחדד, לא ניפרד, נתאחד, כי מה שלי ומה שלך זוהי דרך חדשה, כשהשמש עולה על כולנו מהירה. אז עם הפחד בצד, שבט אחים ואחיות מאוחד. הנה, הנה, for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and in unity. How good enough pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and in unity.
All right. Okay, well, hey everybody. I didn't expect this big of a crowd. We've run out of programs. So I was kind of thinking it would be like you go to see, well, back in the early 2000s, we went up to New York to see Spamalot in the original cast, and we got there, and it was like, oh my, are we going to see the understudy or not? And we didn't, and you guys are getting the understudy, and I guess you knew it when you got here, so cool. So my name's Larissa Thomason, and been a member of the temple for a long time. And I don't know a lot of you guys, so I hope this all works out, because I haven't done this since November, so I'm nervous, okay? So we are going to start on page 128 with Hine Matov. So how good and how pleasant it is that brothers and sisters dwell together. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. So now for candle lighting. Janine? Candle lighting is on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshenu b'mitzvotav v'tzvienu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
So together, blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. So now let us go to pages 138 and 139 for Lecha Dodi as we welcome the Shabbat bride. And we are going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on 9, if everybody who can stand and face the back, and we will welcome the entrance of the bride. Hey, everybody there? Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el ham yechad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shimol tiferet v'ritira. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki hi makor ha'beracha, merosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'makshavatecha. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Hitori, kiva ore kumiori, uri shur daberi, kevod Adonai alelek nikra. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Boi v'shalom ateret bara, gam bin simcha v'ud-sohara, tok emune am segula, boi chara. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, pnei Shabbat nikabra. So please be seated. Well, actually, you could have, since we're going to do the Baruch, you could have kept standing, couldn't you? So page 146 for the Baruch. So is there a tune that, Fred, that you usually use for the Baruch? Because I'm used to just doing Baruch. Is it the la? Lie, 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 lie. Is that the one? Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Then let's read together. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. Page 151. Stay standing because we're headed for the Shema. Although the Shema is not on page 151, it's on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Then please be seated. So on page 154, we are going to read the Ve'ahavta in English, unless you guys just really want to do it in Hebrew, because I think it's nice to just read to get the essence of it in the English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you're away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus shall you remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Okay. Page 158. 158, please. Before we do the Michamocha, on 159, let's read together in English. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. So down on page 158. Lie, 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 lie. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseferet, nora tehilot oseferet. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayom lifnei Moshe. Zeli anu v'amru, Zeli anu v'amru, Adonai yimlok le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimlok le'olam va'ed. So on page 160, we will do the first two lines of the Hashkivenu, and then we'll read in English at the bottom. Excuse me. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, L'shalom v'hamidenu, Shomeru l'chaim. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, L'shalom v'hamidenu, Shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim. The bottom of the page. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Okay, now on page 164, the actual heart of the service starts with tefillah. Uh-oh, I can't turn with this. Okay. Adonai sefetai tiftach ufi agita ilatecha. Adonai, open my mouth that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'yemotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivcha, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Chonei Hachol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, umevi gdula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahavar. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'etzrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayeh hakol atah rav le'oshia, morid hatal. Mechochel chayim bechesed, mechayeh metim v'rakamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umchayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidom elak, Melech memid umchaye umatzmiat Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Okay, so then we will continue silently until page 178, where we'll join together with Shalom Rav. Okay. Okay, then page 178. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarek et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol eid uv'chol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. And down underneath the English, grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be blessing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and every moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamvarek et amo Yisrael bashalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. So now on page 371, Misha Barak, and I think the list that I'm supposed to read is down here. And I understand Rabbi usually stands down here, but I'm so short, I need to be up high, so I apologize for that. Okay, so the prayers for healing. Ava Berman, Daniel Buring, Nancy Ferguson, Vern Bruton, Ellen Confino, Danny Owen, Nelson Petticourt, Michelle Platts, Eileen Linton, Joyce Putoff, Chuck Campbell, Steve Giller, Margaret Ann Goldsmith, Joyce Suskin, Lynn Wheel, Sarah Ballin, Suzanne Horsley, Charlie Appleby, Lane Altschuler, Dee Berkowitz, Sharon Schuff, Rebecca Stewart, and Renata Limmer. And are there other names that we need to add? Okay, so the Misha Barak, hang on, I know it, but 371. The Misha Barak is not on page 371. Oh, it's in the middle. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm using, because I'm old, I'm using the large print version, so my my pages are different. Hang on, let me go back here. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. Misha Barak Avotenu Mechor Havracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Barak Im Emotenu Mechor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Okay. I don't know about this order of service because it doesn't seem like it's exactly what I sent, but we're not going to do the Elenu before the Devar Torah. So we're, here we go. So in this portion, we are finishing up the book of Numbers. And this is actually a double portion, so be glad you're not in an Orthodox shul, because on Saturday you would have to listen to the entirety of both portions. But what I'm going to talk about tonight comes from the second portion, which is Maseh. And there's a lot going on. Of course, we're getting to the point where Moses does nothing but talk to the Israelites, because we're getting towards the end, so he's got a lot to say. And one of the interesting things about this portion is that the number 42 pops up. And 42, if you're a Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy fan, is a very significant number, right? According to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42 is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. Now, author Douglas Adams, I looked up, is not actually Jewish. But he says he just picked that number at random. If that's true, that's quite the coincidence, because the number 42 is important in many cultures and belief systems, in Japan, in India, I think in Catholicism, and in baseball, because it was Jackie Robinson's number. But it's also quite important in Judaism. There are 42 lines. If we unroll the Torah, there are 42 lines per page on the Torah. In the Kabbalah, 42 is linked to a powerful and mystical name for God. And it's a long one because it's got 42 letters in the name. Kabbalah also links the first 42 letters of the Torah to the mystical name and the process of creation. 42 is also in this Torah portion. Maseh begins with Moses talking to the Israelites about the Exodus. He retraces their route, beginning in Egypt, mentioning every place they stopped, where they backtracked, how long they stayed, what happened there, everything. And at that section, the vibe feels a little bit like a family sitting around and talking about a vacation that they had taken. So here's just a little section from the text. And they journeyed from Pinahahiroth and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness. And they went 3 days' journey into the wilderness of Etham and pitched in Marah. And they journeyed from Marah and came on to Elim. And in Elim were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. And they pitched there. And they journeyed from Elim and pitched by the Red Sea. And I don't know, as I was reading this, I could just kind of see Moses sitting there being like, Elim, whoa, that was some resort. All those palm trees, that was great. And then Aaron chiming in, now you kids are too young to remember, but boy, that Red Sea crossing was really something, It was something else. So, but it takes a lot to go through 42 different places where you stopped. And so you wonder, what is with this recap? And what it seems to be is you don't know how far you've come unless you know where you started. And everybody travels in the Torah. If you want a starring role in the Torah, your story arc almost always starts with you picking up and moving somewhere else, usually far away from home. So think of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses. They all had to leave home to find what was eventually going to become their home. And in this case, the journey required 42 stops over 40 years. And they weren't traveling in a straight line. They swerved, they backtracked, they wandered. That's what happens when a journey that should have taken several weeks takes 40 years, because the desert's not that big. And if you look at the map that the biblical historians did of where they all went, it kind of looks like a ball of yarn, because they're going this way, they're going that way, they're coming back in another direction. And so that makes this section, it's like a travel log that records a physical journey, but it's more than that. Israelites are also on a spiritual journey and a journey of self-discovery. They're no longer slaves, but they're not independent risk takers yet. The Exodus was a time of transition and transformation. And in this case, that process took 40 years. The Torah tells us they wandered for that long because as former slaves, they weren't prepared to live and act as adults. Remember the story of the spies? 12 spies, this is very early. 12 spies were sent into Canaan to scout before the Israelites invaded. 10 of them came back, and they were so freaked out that by the prosperity and the strength of the Canaanites that they terrified the rest of the community. They returned to camp telling these fantastical tales about the Canaanites were so tall that we were like grasshoppers next to them, like this big. And they convinced the community to rebel against Moses and God. The punishment was to spend the next 40 years wandering the desert. And that was 1 year for every day that the spies had been in Canaan. And, why did the people act that way? Because of all that they had been through with Moses and God, and yet they trusted the spies more than they trusted their leadership. And part of that is just the heritage of being a slave. Because in some ways, life as a slave is pretty comforting, There's no anxiety. Am I making the right decision? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Because you have no agency. All the decisions are made for you. That's easy. Your life as a slave moved in a straight line. Birth, work, more work, and then death. Boring but predictable. And you never had to make your own decisions or weigh the consequences of your actions. An entire population of people like this are not capable of governing themselves, organizing effective actions, or considering the consequences before they act. So they had to wander. They had to go from place to place and learn lessons every time they changed direction. And think about your own life. If you're telling someone your life story, it starts with, I was born here, I went to high school, I went to college, I got married, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like somebody at birth, you shot an arrow and it just went straight to where you are now. So we were all born and now we're here, But it's not that linear. There's so much more to all of our lives. So many stops along the way. So many roads not taken, choices to make, lessons to learn from the bad choices, and the good. And you never know for sure if you're making the right decision. The people who left Egypt were not remotely prepared for that kind of uncertainty. They didn't have any experience with making choices or considering the consequences of their actions. They were never given the chance to live as adults, so when confronted with difficult situations, they defaulted to what was new, what they knew and what was familiar. They preferred a life of slavery and submissions. How many times during the Exodus did they demand to go back to Egypt? Why did we leave here? Why, whine. They were willing to hand their power back to a despot who had killed their children. That seemed safer than grappling with a life full of uncertainty, where they had the freedom to make their own choices and their own mistakes and had to live with the consequences. It took them a while to work this out, 40 years and 42 stops, to finally learn what they needed to know, that the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is that nothing is certain. Nothing is guaranteed. You'll make a lot of mistakes, Sometimes you're on the wrong path and you need a course correction, or 2, 3, or 42 of them. All you can do is keep learning, taking responsibility, doing the best you can, and doing as much good as you can. Shabbat Shalom. All righty, let's see. What do we have next? Where is all of my book? There it is. Okay, so now we're ready for the Elenu. And that is on page 586. Let's go. Rise, please. Gosh. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot hadama, shelo sam kelchenu chayem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim uvishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malkei hamlakim hakadosh baruch hu. And page 280, page 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Okay, now 598. Well, actually, let's see. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death, and tonight we remember those who have recently passed: Alvin Jupiter, Helen Maltz, Robert, and the anniversary of those who died: Helen Maltz, Robert Lapidus, Alan Bedall, Fred Golby, Flora Brazelton Segler, Louis Rubin, Abraham Weiner, and any other names to add? Is anybody? Okay. Then page 598. Let us join together in words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlik malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon b'chaye b'kol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah memvarak, le'al me'al rak v'ishtabak, v'yatadar v'yatale v'yatalal shmei dekudesha brihu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bekata v'nechamata, dami v'ilma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom ben Romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Okay, announcements. Please be seated. Announcements. Monday, July 28th is the deadline to RSVP for Written Expression, a creative writing class with author Matthias Fries. RSVPs to Abby. Space is still available and we need more people to make the class. Wednesday, July 30th, everyone is invited to eat ice cream to support our new youth and family program, Kulanu. Who doesn't love ice cream? So from 6 to 8 p.m., Kulanu Spirit Night at Handel's Homemade Ice Cream. And there are 2 locations, one on Highway 72 West and one on 4 Mile Post Road. On Friday, August 1st, this is next Friday, 5:30 to 6:15 is our back-to-school themed dinner. Please RSVP by Thursday, July 23rd at noon to Abby. $15 for turkey or vegetable sandwiches, chips, and cookies. $12 kids for chicken tenders, potato wedges, corn. And $6.15 is Shabbat Kulanu with RPJ and song leader Steve Carini and the back-to-school Blessing of the Backpacks. Is that a new ritual that we have? The Blessing of the Backpacks? That's pretty cool. Please check the weekly email on Wednesdays for more adult education opportunities and other events. And we will finish with Oseh Shalom, which is actually on page 647 and not page 180. Although I think we all know the words. Oseh Shalom bin Romav, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'emeru Amen. Oseh Shalom bin Romav, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'emeru Amen. Keep going, or are we done? I think we're done. Well, thank you guys. Shabbat Shalom. I hope it wasn't disappointing. I'm sorry. What? Bread. Oh. Motzi. Oh, good Lord. See, I'm sorry. Look, I'm just anxious to get off this bema right now, right? Okay, Fred, come on. Fred. Oh, we can do. Okay, we're going to do it in the social hall because everybody's going to have wine. It's. All right then. Well, come on. We'll do motzi in there too because we'll all be all together with the wine.
How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and in unity. שבט אחים ואחיות שרק רוצים לחיות, להיות להבות, התקוות בעיניים פתוחות, בידיים אוהבות ומקבלות, ובידיעה שכולנו משפחה באמונה שתוכנו יש מקום גדול לאהבה. כשהמים זורמים הם אותנו מובילים, מרומים מצבעים, כי אמא שלי ומה שחזוי דרך חדשה, כשהשמש עולה על כולנו מהירה. אז עוד שנייה, הנה זה בא, כמו הנשמה, נשמה, נשימה. אש, אני מבקש, כך ניתן מצב רוח לעלות ונתייאש. כשהשן עליי דוהר בוער, אני לא מהר, לא סופר על העבר, מוותר מרגיש את הרגע, פוגע במציאות, נוגע, שופע לא גורע ותמיד יודע שאם לא נפחד, הראש יתחדד, לא ניפרד, נתאחד. כי מה שלי ומה שלך זוהי דרך חדשה, כשהשמש עולה על כולנו מהירה, אז עם הפחד בצד, שבט אחים ואחיות מאוחד. הנה הנה